Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I love it. Hopefully, all out there smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. And we got some interesting stuff here today. We met some friends over at Brunch of Stoners this weekend, the Corner Boys, and they gave us some samples of Rainbow Venom that we're going to smoke today. And I'll tell you all about it in a second after I tell you what we're smoking it in, because I met some people at MJ BizCon that handed me this Rapafire flavored natural cones, and this is just regular three Havana leaf blunt cones, which are pretty cool. Show that out there, Mrs. Weedman, that cone. Look at that thing. That's a monster. Woo!
It's huge.
Look at that beautiful cone. So this is Rapafire, and this is made in the Dominican Republic, and we were given to us by some friends of ours that I had met at MJ BizCon, and looking forward to trying this. So thank you, Rapafire. And I'd like to thank the Corner Boys for giving us some of this Rainbow Venom that I'm going to tell you all about right now. So Rainbow Venom is rich in trichomes, which are resin glands containing cannabinoids. This produces effects ranging from relaxing to stimulating, depending on the potency and ratios of this flavor. You can feel the effects of this within like 15 to 20 minutes. It is a strain that is Viper Cookies and Rainbow Bets. Thanks, Corner Boys.
Uppity.
It said it was more of like in the middle.
In the middle.
It's a hybrid. Yeah, it's definitely a hybrid. Like relaxing, nice feeling, talkative, but yet like chill on the couch.
But the wrap is a tobacco leaf?
Tobacco leaf.
So is there nicotine?
Yes, okay. There is nicotine in there.
And I don't smoke nicotine.
It's been a while.
Am I going to get a headache?
I don't know. You might get a little head buzz.
Little buzz.
It's not really like a spliff. Just the leaf has tobacco, and it's not like you're putting like ground tobacco, but you might get a little bit of a head buzz from it. Not much. It's a blunt. You're smoking a blunt.
Yeah.
A true tobacco leaf blunt, though.
Yeah, because when I smoke the backwoods is
true tobacco leaf. Yeah. Didn't you feel fine when you smoked that?
Totally.
And then you'll be fine smoking this. And this isn't infused or anything. Like this is straight up Corner Boys weed, and they would be probably proud they were smoking it in a tobacco leaf blunt. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us today, and we really appreciate this. I had a fun week last week.
Yeah, we had a good week. We had a Brunch of Stoners on Sunday, and it was fantastic. It was their winter blaze, so it was the finale, Christmas, or I should say holiday festivities, and things to do there. They had some crafts, some holiday crafts, and lots of good vendors and a new venue. It was a beautiful day in Chicago, so it was a great event.
Yes, it was very fun, and we met a lot of cool people again. Probably rolled about 65, 70 joints. I was outside. Something different from the two of us, too.
Yeah, we separated.
I was going through separation anxiety for a little bit there, too, so I didn't know what to do with myself. But we did a good job. People that would come up, there was a lot of people that we knew, too, and new people, but sent people your way, you sent people my way. I was next to our good friend Spliff Society at Briggs over there, having a good old time with him and using his cones to roll doinks for people.
And I was next to the Corner Boys.
Yeah, and they gave us some free weed, and we got some free wraps from Briggs. It's always fun to see everybody and have a good time. Thank you, Felix and Elena, for always hosting such a great party, and all the staff that works there does such a great job. I don't want to start naming names because I can't remember. I can't name everybody.
There's so many people that help.
But thank you for all the hard work, the help of the setup, the help of the cleanup. It's such a fun time, fun experience to do Brunch of Stoners, and just to be a part of the great folks that come out and help put it all together too. So thank you, Brunch of Stoners, Felix and Elena, and hopefully you keep on going into 2025. And let's do this. So this is really nice.
It's nice. It's smooth.
You want to try it?
I feel it.
The wrap is really nice too. It's very impressive how nice and smooth burning. That is very slow. It tastes really nice. The true tobacco. They do different flavored cones too. I prefer just the straight regular tobacco. I like to taste my weed and not taste different flavors. That's just me. But they do different flavors. So, and I do like how it's slow burning. It took a lot of weed to fill that bad boy up, though. So, and
is it like 2 grams?
Yeah, it's probably about 2.5 grams. And it was also I'm like, I gotta roll another nug. So thanks, Corner Boys, for throwing us a bunch of that. So, Mr. Weedman went to MJ BizCon last week, and I never made it to the convention. Never got there. I saw a lot of posts about it from people posting on your Instagram when I came back because I didn't get to start another Instagram yet, but I got to hear some stories. And what I had to do, I was at the Cosmopolitan, had a bunch of meetings, did a lot of networking, met a lot of people, a couple of the companies that I was hanging out with, threw some big parties. And I got to host some of the parties and have some fun at some of the parties. There was the True Terps party Terpenes party that was a lot of fun. They gave me like 10 different joints. Jill, the vice president, I got to meet, and I was downstairs leading people to the parties upstairs, like kind of being a host, having some fun. And she had asked me to help out with their party too, because they needed some of the people who were working downstairs next to me upstairs to help out. And I said, absolutely, I'll have some fun, because we're on the same floor and both parties were right next to one another. So I got to do that for them, and I got well rewarded with about 6 different big fat fucking that we wind up just smoking with people. But they did something really interesting. They're a terp company, and they had some phenomenal smelling terpenes, and they were doing some different types of rosins and some different types of liquid diamonds and all this different cool stuff. But what they did was something different. They were trying to get people away from spraying terpenes on joints for flavor. So what they were kind of doing, which was really neat, was infusing the joint. So they would take you pick the strain you wanted. Like I picked wedding cake, and so they took the doink and they put it in a mason jar. But on the bottom of the mason jar was a cotton ball, like one of the makeup cotton balls, like the flat ones, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're called, but
like a makeup remover pad.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Like that. And they sprayed the terpenes on that, put the doink in there, and then they put it in like a hyperbolic chamber, is what I'm going to call it. But it's actually just like a, God, I knew the name of it, and I just forgot. It's like a vacuum seal, like a vacuum machine. I was calling it a hyperbolic chamber because I couldn't remember the name, but that's what I would call it. And for 5 minutes, it infuses the joint. Like it's not a spray on it, just like the
vapor. The
vapor, yes. The vacuum,
essence.
the essence goes into the flower and into the paper. And it was so I had done black cherry on top of wedding cake was the strain. And I didn't get I only got one, and they gave me a bunch of other joints, but they weren't infused with the terpenes.
So it's a flavor, or it's a natural terpene?
It's a natural terpene.
It is natural. Mm-hmm. And it's terpenes from cannabis or terpenes from plants?
Plants.
Okay.
Fruits.
Huh.
So it was different. I mean, I know of companies that spray terps on their joints, or in other different ways to get that flavor, because cannabis terpenes are very volatile. They don't last very long outside of the plant itself. So a lot of companies use fruit terpenes or botanical terpenes, plant-derived terpenes instead, because it's very hard to keep They haven't got it down yet. I think most of the time cannabis terpenes usually last only about 2 weeks outside of the plant.
So now this has like my mind spinning about these terpenes. So the terpenes are coming from something other than cannabis.
Right.
Natural.
Yes.
But
phenomenal flavors.
But terpenes from cannabis have benefits.
Yeah, of course.
When let's talk about entourage effect, right?
Yeah.
Some people argue that as a thing, but certain terpenes from cannabis have medicinal benefits or quality.
Well,
let's
just
say
like
qualities.
Just like terpenes from plants too have
they
medicinal.
do?
Yeah.
So even a terpene. But that means that when I eat an orange, I would have
There's terpenes in oranges.
They make me happy and think about Florida.
That's good.
But that's not like a.
But that's a bonus. Let's just say. But there is terpenes in the skin of the orange.
I gotta learn more about.
So when you take an orange, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah,
and
I get
twist it.
That's
you
the
twist
oils,
the skin,
the natural
essential oils, right? Mm-hmm. In those are the smell, the flavor. That's terpenes.
I get all that. Like I knew that,
right?
But I never thought about. I'm just thinking about the entourage effect. Like we use CBN because CBN actually helps you sleep.
Cannabinoid, right?
Well, that's a cannabinoid, not a terpene.
Hey, guess what though?
Oh my God!
I have something for you later on in the show.
Look.
I have a periodic chart.
5 years into doing a podcast and being a consumer, and I don't fucking know anything some days. I'm like, Was I born yesterday?
No, you just smoked. You just smoked some really heavy weed.
No, but really, I mean, maybe I just never really thought about it.
Yeah. Well,
as much as I'm thinking about it right now. Oh my God, what did we smoke?
We smoked.
What is the name of this?
We smoked Rainbow Venom.
Rainbow Venom. I feel like I was bit by something. Shit.
So anyway, I was at MJ BizCon, and their True Terpenes bungalow was a lot of fun. Hung out with the Smokies crew. Their bungalow was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people there. I also got to see our friend George from Dynavap. Mm-hmm. And I got invited to go to their suite and met so many cool inventors.
That's cool.
People that invent, not only does George has a new invention. I heard. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, so I'm not going to talk about it yet. Yep. Very cool invention Dynavap came up with. Plus some of his new Dynavap vaporizers. Where he was showing some of the new models. The titanium ones were really fun. Met some people. I met a guy named Wes, not our Big Earl Wes. He was an inventor. He created. I can't remember the name of the machine. He gave me his card, but I have it upstairs. He invented a curing drying machine that can do it in 17 days. Cure and dry in 17 days, and it's this beautiful box-looking machine, up to 4 pounds. You can cure and dry in 17 days. And I asked him, I said, could you get it down more? He goes, I'm working on getting it down to like 15, 14 days for the whole process. I'm like, that's cool. It was nice, beautiful machine.
Is it like a humidor kind of?
No, it's. I wouldn't call it a
pressure.
Humidor. It's just don't even start asking me questions. Stop.
Did you see this weed? It makes my brain like.
I can lead you to his website. You can look at it later.
Thanks.
Thank you. I met another gentleman that created a vaporizer machine that it was very long and weird. The shape of it was like the handle. It was really cool, and it was a vaporizer. It took about 5 minutes to heat the coil. I don't remember the name of it. So, because I was very stoned, because I met another guy that had a laser machine that was busting out diamonds, and it was fucking really cool. And it was a laser though, burning the liquid through a laser, and it came out perfect. The hit, it was unbelievable. So that's 3 people I met with cool machines. I also got to meet. Who else did I got to meet? I got Sensi Magazine. I got to meet the astronomer marijuana list or something. I can't remember her code. I have her card too. I met her. She was dope. I met who's the bongs that you like? That Dynavap represents.
Oh, Jane West.
She was there.
Yeah.
Got to meet her for a quick. They asked me how I got the name Boot. And I gave them the story because I met Joanne, her friend, who was a dispensary owner in San Diego. And I told them the full story. And they both said, thank you for your service. I said, I'm not a Marine. But one day we'll tell my story, how I got the name Boot. And they heard the full effect story. So, because they said.
It's a colorful tale.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and
I'm all bundled up in my big wool sweater tonight.
It's a very nice sweater.
It's cold out.
And then you go down to the Cosmopolitan. Everything was happening in the Cosmopolitan Hotel. The Cosmo was for short, but there's a bar down there called the Chandelier Bar. And the first night it was busy. The night I got there, Tuesday, was busy. Tuesday night. Wednesday night was fucking murder. That casino bar was fucking. You couldn't even get to the bar to get a drink.
I gotta see what it looks like.
You couldn't even even go to the bar.
How
to
many
get a drink.
people deep?
It was probably
like 10?
It was bad.
It was bad.
I wind up going up to the bungalow and just grabbing another beer and coming back down. It was faster. Every table was full. Casino table was full. The who's who in cannabis was there. Like, it was 1:00 in the morning when I left the Dynavap party, and it was fucking mobbed.
Wow.
So,
like the whole place is like you're inside a big chandelier.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yeah, and
it's a lot. It's very Vegas.
Very Vegas. Whew. So all the tables were full. So like around 1:30, I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I was done. I worked my ass off. I mean, I was hosting and doing a lot of work. I was working all day with meetings and stuff like that too. So it was a very busy day. So by like so I found out there was some friends that were over at the Planet Hollywood Hotel, where I was staying at anyway. So I'm like, I think I'll just go over there. And we played roulette till about 3 a.m.
Sweet.
Smoked one joint outside and had a beer for the ditch, and I was in bed. But I will tell you what, it was a lot of fun. And you're looking at the bar?
Yeah, I walked through there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was that place, but
Packed. I mean, unbelievably packed. I mean, the first night I was there at that bar, it was not as busy. It was busy. Saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a while either. People I've met from Ohio, people I've met from the East Coast in cannabis, people I've, of course, from Illinois, people I've met from the West Coast, people I haven't seen in years, people I worked for or worked with or did business with. And that was just in the Cosmopolitan.
Wow.
That wasn't even at the convention, which I never made it to. So if anybody wants to tell me about it, please do. I'd love to hear more about it. But it was very cool. Next year, you have to go with me. You have to come with me next year. There was all sorts of fun going on. All different kinds of stuff. Ask me off air one day and I'll tell you all more stories about what went on there and how much fun it was. But Vegas is... Whew.
Vegas is Vegas.
Vegas is Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
That was only my second... Well, I just told everybody what happened in Vegas, so I guess it doesn't stay in Vegas. So,
well, you're not supposed to tell everybody.
So I lost maybe like $20. I don't really gamble. I suck at I don't suck at gambling. I just don't like to lose money.
Well, if you only lost 20, it means you must have been up for a while.
No, I wasn't up at all.
Oh.
I only bet $20 and I lost it.
Oh. That's
But you want to know something funny?
What?
I found $20 on the street.
So did you gamble it?
That was the $20 I gambled with.
Oh,
and I lost
so you
it.
didn't lose anything?
I didn't lose anything.
Come on. You went to Vegas and you only I gambled more than that, and I don't even care about gambling.
Just don't really care.
$100 at least.
I was having fun just watching people play roulette. I was talking with people around the table. You know, I wasn't really in the mood to gamble. This wasn't my thing. I think
people go with like thousands.
Tens of hundreds of thousands. Some people go to.
Well, I'm saying like the average.
Oh, some people go like I knew people that brought like, hey, I got a grand.
Like they save up.
I bought a grand with me for the 3 days I'm here to gamble with.
If
I win it all, great. If I win more, great. If I lose more, I don't care. I saved up $1,000. Here's Mr. Weedman. Yeah, I bet
got $20 that I found on the ground. Cheap ass. Your buddies were probably just rolling their eyes.
Oh my god! No, they didn't even
Boots
know.
of cheap ass.
They didn't even know. They're like, "How much did you put on the table?" Don't worry about it. You're out already. Yeah, I'm just gonna go I'm gonna go have another smoke and go people watch for a little bit. You know, I just wasn't in the mood to gamble. My mind wasn't there. You know, to just sit there and play. I was too amped up. I was too high at one point, like fun high. Like I didn't want to just sit somewhere. I could have just walked the streets, but no one wanted to go walking with me. So, you know, plus there was some mushroom bars going around. So that was fun too. I had a couple.
That had to be interesting to be in that environment.
Oh, it was great. I want to do more. I didn't have enough. I only did 1.5 grams, and I wish I had like 3-4 grams, and then it would have got wild.
It would have been fun.
Then the visuals would have started. You know,
but then you don't really want to like have to have conversations, right?
No, who said I need to have conversation? I just would have walked around and just been me.
Right. I'm saying you want to do that later when you're done talking.
Yes, and I was done talking.
Yeah,
I was talking for 2 days straight. But if you're in the industry, or if you're not in the industry, and you want to check out the business side and also the let loose side of cannabis, MJ BizCon is the place to be. You know,
but like you said, there are a lot of people that go there to be vendors.
Yep.
There are a lot of people that never intend to be vendors. They go there for networking.
Yep.
And the networking is both people and meetings that happen within the convention and outside of the convention. So you guys just had slammed back-to-back meetings outside of the convention.
Right.
So
the convention's a lot of money to set up a booth. And for some companies, it's not really worth that to do something like that. It's more worth having a party. And spending the money, your marketing dollars that way, and inviting people you know that you've done business with, people you want to do business with, and people that just come because they like your brand.
Right.
You know? But the real business, the real true business, happens around the Cosmopolitan, around the Chandelier Bar. I think I did a napkin plan for somebody.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I kind of wrote some numbers down on a napkin. And I actually gave the dude, Wes, who owns that one company, I gave him actually a sales plan.
Nice.
Yeah, because he asked me my opinion. He goes, "What do you do for a living?" I said, I build relationships." So he goes, "You're in sales?" I started laughing. I said, "Yeah, I'm in sales." And he goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I gave him, basically broke it down to him in like 8 minutes, a business, like a sales plan, like a go-to-market strategy, what he needs to do to sell this, and how to get people to buy into what he's selling. And he's like, "Damn, you're right." I said, "Thanks." I said it was probably the mushrooms, but or the weed. So one or the other. They made me smart at that moment. But it was a lot of fun. So next year you got to come with and experience the Chandelier Bar. And if I didn't see you out there, I apologize. Next time. So hopefully we get to meet up out there and let loose a little bit, because it was fun to let loose a little bit. It was actually... Most of the time, we're all business in the front, all party in the back. In the cannabis industry, it's like all business most of the time. You never get to let loose. But out there, the party was definitely in the back. You saw a lot of people having a lot of fun. So, you ready to get the show started?
Yeah, let's go.
Overdosing on cannabis. When a good time goes bad. Oof. Visit your local cannabis store and you'll likely see a wide range of customers, from 20-somethings to gray-haired grandmas and grandpas. With some of who uses marijuana consistently say they turn to it for pain relief or ease of symptoms or medical conditions, to resolve sleep issues, for other therapeutic purposes. But for the majority of people who imbibe in cannabis, as studies and surveys have shown, it's a recreational thing. Like most people, like before they really used it for medical, like back when I was using it more for socially. You know, smoked it every time I went out. It was great. You know, you let loose, you have some fun. You don't drink. You don't need to drink as much beer. You know, you have a good time, and you're able to maintain that high by stepping outside and, you know,
smoking again.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's all about the buzz. Cannabis is an option over alcohol for relaxation, or, like I said, socializing, and some strains are particularly used for inducing joy or enhancing the senses. Fire up a pre-roll, break out an infused cookie, pop a gummy or 3, and enjoy the ride. But load up on too much, and the smooth sailing can turn into rough waters. We have our producer, Shoddy, had a rough time at Brunch of Stoners. We love you, Shoddy. We're not going to say anything. Not used to doing hash. Right? Probably maybe only smoked it once in her life, maybe never at all. And took a rip, and then maybe took another rip, and maybe took another rip, and had too much and got comatose and couldn't move off a chair for like 15 minutes. Yeah. Paulie was there with her, and who used to do the show and knew exactly what to do, got her water, and I said, let her sit, like take deep breaths, and she almost greened out. But we got her up and we got her home safe, and she said she was fine. She ate and she slept the best she's ever slept in a while. So, of course.
She just did not feel very good.
At that one point, yeah. And if you're not used to smoking hash like that and you load up too much, that's what's going to happen. It happened to me New Year's, remember? I mean, I was sitting on a chair slump Lord meme god, just, you know? So it happens. So,
I forgot about that. I'm holding the New Year's Eve lighter.
It's your fault, though. I blame that on you.
It's my fault?
Because you couldn't finish that bowl.
Oh, so I said finish it for me.
And I was already high. It was perfect. And
Thanks,
I took
Mr.
a
Weedman.
rip upon rip of that thing and blew like a freight train. And I looked right over at you. I said, I'm done. I'm going to be too high now. And I was slumped. You got a picture of me next to you laughing. But that was your fault. So Dr. Glenn Clark, an emergency room physician for Corewell Health, and overdosing or overconsuming cannabis likely won't kill you. But the paranoia and other adverse reactions it may induce can make you feel like you're going to die. The OD happens when the body can't metabolize cannabis quickly enough, says Dr. Clark said. And when you can't metabolize it quickly enough, that can lead to adverse effects. People use THC, the main component in marijuana, because they want to be relaxed and get that euphoric feeling. But it can also cause a little paranoia. I've always said paranoia is your brain's trying to work shit out, but it does happen. Heart palpitations, yes. Panic attacks, yes. Chest pains, and people feel like they're having a heart attack and they call the ambulance and they want to go to the fucking hospital. This is all true. And your heart, feeling of heart racing. Some also experience sweating Nausea, vomiting, Clark said. Yes, it does. I experienced it, not myself, but watched somebody. In his experience as a physician, Clark said the emergency department is seeing an increasing number of patients with cannabis OD symptoms. Since recreational marijuana was legalized, there's no questions we're seeing more of it on a 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 2 week, he said. So kind of like people taking too much alcohol, where you see 10 to 20 people a week, probably 30 to 40 people a week is alcohol. You're only seeing 1 to 2 cannabis. That's actually, they're learning.
Yeah.
You know, typical treatment in ER is IV fluids and sometimes medications such as Xanax don't give them any Xanax. They don't need it to calm them down, Clark said. Give them some sweet. Give them some lemon water. Talk them down. Don't give them another. Don't give them that. Stressful situations and mixing alcohol with cannabis can make OD symptoms and other health conditions worse. The heightened anxiety and result for too much THC can also unmask underlying psychiatric issues and can present with one ODs, Clark noted, requiring follow-up. Dr. Jason Veeder, vice chairman of emergency medicine of Henry Ford Health, also weighed in on cannabis use and overuse. He, too, said symptoms include heightened anxiety and a race occasion psychosis, dehydration, dizziness, slower than usual movements also are seen. It can make you feel pretty bad, he said. If someone has used marijuana with pain medication or sleep medication, they become overly sedated and appear really out of it, Veeder added. Veeder said that in his experience, there was a sharp increase in the number of people who sought emergency help after overdosing on marijuana a few years back when it became legal in Michigan, but the cases have since tapered off, unlike what Clark has seen. The gates were open when it was legalized, and people normally not using marijuana were using it, Veeder said. Their inexperience led to some ODs, not dying ODs, just they were high, too high, for which people sought medical care. But that doesn't seem to be happening much anymore. Actually, we're seeing less of this in the community now. There's much more information available now, so my educated guess is that it has become more prevalent and widespread. So many more people out there now know how to use it. Yeah, because they listen to Weedman 420 Chronicles and The Grow Hour. Both doctors say while there's no known antidote to reverse cannabis OD, someone who overconsumes can likely just stay home and wait for the symptoms to subside, which can take several hours, Clark added. I never discourage someone from seeking help, but if they're feeling a bit anxious and a little more nauseous, they don't need to rush to the hospital, he said. Just wanted it to stop. Jerry Millen, owner of the Oakland Colony's first fully licensed store, Greenhouse in Walled Lake, knows all about cannabis, including the troublesome reactions that can come from overconsuming. A number of years back ago, a stress-filled leg of family vacation, Millen said he needed to take something to chill him out. When he opened his suitcase, he was pleasantly surprised to see cannabis-infused edibles, which had inadvertently been left over from an earlier trip. I was glad to see it, and I ate it, Millen said. Then he read the package and saw it was 100 milligram, exceeding a large amount for him to consume. I started thinking, oh, Lord, he said, and he had realized he ingested 4 times more than he had known people to use a single dose. I told my wife, and she said, I had been smiling a lot for the past few minutes, Millen said. But then it started kicking in, and it wasn't fun, he said. I started making deals with God, saying I would never do this again, Millen said. I just hid under the blanket in bed. The television seemed 10 times louder than usual. I wanted to make myself throw up, but I couldn't. I wanted something to bring me down. I was so high it was insane. I just wanted to stop. I felt like it was spinning a ride at a carnival, and I couldn't get off. But I knew I wasn't going to. Start low.
Go slow.
Go slow. Hours later, the effects had worn off for Millen, but the ordeal gave him his firsthand knowledge about what can happen if you use more cannabis than your body can handle. Hence, our producer, Shoddy. and he's trained staff at Greenhouse already with guidance for customers that don't have the same unpleasant experience. Millen's credo: start low and go slow. It's always good to start with less and work your way up. He noting that some edibles can take 2 to 3 hours before it take effects. Also, he advises people, especially new users, to keep a journal, right? We've talked about this before. Treat it like a medicine, whether you're using it medically, purpose, or recreational. Write it down. Be aware of what you're taking and keep track. As he cautious against consuming alcohol or other drugs with cannabis, just don't, he said. Those of his staff called bud tenders have access to extensive library of literature and can further advise about dosing, effects, and do's and don'ts, he added. That goes for medical as well as recreational cannabis. Everyone who works here uses cannabis. We do our research and can tell people what works and what doesn't work. Cannabis science has evolved so much in the past 5 years, and there's so much being discovered. We pride ourselves on our knowledge. Great. That's a great store, you know? Mm-hmm. Hold on one second. Not many marijuana stores can talk about health like we can. There aren't many medical marijuana stores left, but I made a promise long ago to my medical marijuana customers that I'm going to be here till the end. And then keep it from the kids. Call Conveyor reminder to take precautions from keep marijuana products away from children. But be responsible. Lock it up. Keep it away. Explain to your kids, though, if you hide it from them and they find it, they're not going to know. They need to know cannabis is legal. They need to know what it is and why they shouldn't take it. And then you take it and you lock it in a lockbox. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a safe. Just because kids are curious. Right?
Right.
I was. There's also the cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, which is a real thing. We've talked about that on the show. So just be careful. They're saying that with cannabis hyperemesis syndrome too. You shouldn't be using cannabis. You know,
and that's the condition where you just get nauseous every time that you consume.
Severe, unrelenting vomiting, and intense abdominal pain, and it's not completely understood yet why. Yeah. And like I said, we talked about this years ago that it was from neem oil that was being sprayed that was giving people, but who knows? You know, that's what I read a few years ago, and I had stuck to that, and I put that out there with articles and people talking about neem oil being used or pesticides being used and making people sick on cannabis, but they still don't know. So to cure yourself from that, you have to take extreme, like hot showers is the only calming of it. And it takes a while I've talked to some people that have had it. And they can't smoke weed anymore, and they used to love smoking weed. You know, so you know, let's face it, people are going to use cannabis. Cannabis consumption is here to stay, right? So there should be no judging of what people do anymore. We don't judge you if you drink. We don't judge you what you do in your life. But if people like to smoke weed and they like to use weed, if they're professional, if it's their vice, or if they just like it socially, or if they need it medically, there should be no judgment. Mm-hmm. And if people use cannabis in their household, what they do in their house is what they do. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Also, I feel that as I was reading this article and putting this together yesterday, my thing with this is we need to, and I had this talk with O-Dog's boyfriend too at the dinner table on Sunday about low dose weed. We talked about Colorado starting it, and it's starting to make amends. I mean, higher THC makes money, but we're not introducing the new people that want to get back into cannabis or try cannabis because they've never tried it before, and then they go to a dispensary and they ask for some flower because that's what they know. And, oh, what do you want? Oh, I want something that's going to put me on the couch. Oh, you should try. When you say that and you don't know what your THC percentage is, what the other cannabinoids are in it, whatever, and you just ask that you want something that's going to help you relax, the bud tender doesn't know that you're inexperienced. You sound like you just want a strain that's going to help you relax, right? Instead of being us teaching people going, this is like a 28%. Are you used to that high of THC? No. We need to have strains for the beginners, beginning strains. Right? Mm-hmm. New low dose, higher terpene blends, multiple cannabinoids in there, but low dose 8%, 6%, 9%. Here, I'll put it in perspective to beer. Mm-hmm. I can't drink a fucking 9% double IPA every day, nor do I want to.
Right.
But I like a good 3%, 4% Pilsner that I can drink one a day. Mm-hmm. You know? Same thing with my weed. I like the low. I've said it from the beginning. I like 14, 15%. And in the daytime, I don't want to smoke a 22 to 28%.
The dispensaries should have a filter on their websites when you go online to order that allows you to pick a category of THC content. So you could say...
They do.
They do?
Yes.
Oh, so you can search by THC. But maybe like categorizing it as a new, like a new consumer, and then maybe like explain what a new consumer is.
Newbie.
And then
just put newbie.
Newbie. Here's what you should be taking in, how frequently, like some advice, some basic that falls in that when that screen pops up with the lower dose
Yeah,
of cannabis,
I agree,
like
100%.
explaining who that's good for.
The newbie smoker tab.
Or the person who wants to
Or
consume
are you
all
new
day.
to cannabis?
Yeah.
Are you new to cannabis?
new?
This
Yeah.
button's for you. Mm-hmm. This click here.
But it's more than just being new. It's also just people who want to be able to microdose all day. Or,
yeah, but I don't even think we need to call it microdosing when it comes to flower.
Right.
Why? It just, I want a low dose. I want a low beverage strain. Right. I want a 4% beer, 3% beer. Like I call it table weed. I want table weed, just like they had table wine and table beer. Right, 2%. Kids can drink it. It was healthier and safer than the water, right? That's where table wine and table beer came from. I want table weed. I want 4 to 8% where I can just pick it up and feel like I there's not so much up here. It just makes you feel a little alive, you know, just like smoking a cig. You know, you get that nicotine goes right into your head and you're like, woo, but you're not high. You just feel good. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right, good. Cats.
Yeah.
Those
cats.
damn cats in
We're
those
always
Christmas
talking about
trees.
dogs around here.
Yeah. Cats and Christmas trees.
Yeah, I think it's a hard time of year for people with cats.
Well, our kids, Shawty and Polly, have 2, and they didn't put a tree up this year.
Oh, they didn't put it up. They were
They
debating.
put a little small like
because the cats would have trashed it.
Oh yeah, especially Poe.
The new kitten likes to pull all the soil out of plants
the new
too,
kid.
right?
Yeah, they had to hide everything.
Yeah.
So Poe,
So-
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
So
Can CBD
keep cats away from the tree?
Yeah. Well, it seems cats do things just to annoy their owners. There are many felines that enjoy being up high to survey their surroundings, and the branches of your Christmas tree provide a fun climbing challenge. They are also attracted to shiny objects like ornaments and lights. Like humans, cats enjoy the smell of live evergreens too. Alone, CBD cannot keep cats from exploring, but it can be used as a tool to relax and help them lose interest in wrecking your tree. CBD for cats has gained popularity among pet owners seeking alternative treatments for various feline health issues. CBD is generally considered safe for cats when used appropriately. CBD, or cannabidiol, is a non-psychoactive compound found in hemp plants that interacts with the endocannabinoid system in cats, potentially offering benefits for anxiety, pain, inflammation, and overall wellness. CBD could help cats with several issues during the holidays, including reduced anxiety from visitors, decorations, and changes in routine. It can help alleviate pain and inflammation, which may worsen in colder weather. And with the possible changes in routine, it can help with sleep quality. And regarding the actual tree, it can help them chill and relax. It's important to use products specifically formulated for cats, as human or dog CBD products may not be suitable. Follow dosage guidelines carefully. Consult with your veterinarian before starting CBD, especially for cats with health issues or on medications. Typically, CBD comes in oil or treats. The oils allow for precise dosing, while treats may be easier to administer. Other ways to keep your cat out of the tree is having a fake tree, which can be less dangerous than a real one. Having a smaller tree, because it can be less damaging if it falls over. Use a heavy base or weights to prevent the tree from tipping over. Cats dislike citrus and foil, so you can wrap the tree trunk in foil and put orange or lemon peels around the base
They don't
of the
like
tree.
cucumbers either. Put some cucumbers around the tree.
Hang them like ornaments, like dangle slices of
pickles,
cucumber.
2 tree pickles.
Place cheaper, less sentimental decoration toward the bottom of the tree, and try choosing wooden or plastic ornaments instead of highly reflective ones. Cats are curious. So maybe a little CBD over the holiday season would be helpful for you too, because after all, cats will do what they want to do. Yo, Felix, pass the CBD.
Cats. They're cute. They're a pain in the ass, though. They get in a lot of mischief, those little kits. This website that I found on another article, I was showing Mrs. Weedman before we started the show. So this new tool makes everyone kind of like an expert, maybe, or a weed expert, or a more learning expert. Walking into a dispensary for the first time may feel overwhelming for some, and this is going into the holiday season right now, where this is a lot of people's first time going into a dispensary because they're either buying a gift for somebody they know that smokes cannabis, right? Or they want to have some fun this holiday season and bring some edibles or a joint to a holiday party or a family party, or of course we have New Year's coming too. So people like to enjoy cannabis now. The amount of information can make some people black out, not getting any valuable details. The bartender explains having an educational materials to pour over at home is often the best way to learn about complicated concepts like endocannabinoid system and compounds in weed. They used to look like piecing together many well-researched articles, but not anymore. Accountability developed a periodic table of cannabis molecules for the exact reason, to provide comprehensive, interactive information that can propel general weed knowledge forward. And Mrs. Weedman is going to post this on when we list all the articles out. So check it out on either our YouTube channel or any of the platforms that Weedman 420 Chronicles on, which I think we're on every podcast platform. So this is just like that other one we sent, that other post we did about what was the name of that? What was the name of that article I posted a while back ago? It had the whole entire manual. It was like a manual of weed.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
It was like a Cannabis 101.
Yes, hold on. I have it on my phone because I always keep it on my phone now. So I just want to remind everybody what that is too. That is What's in Your Cannabis, a patient and consumer guide to navigating cannabis safety. So with that manual that we posted on an article, and this website, Accountability, the Cannabis Periodic Table of Molecules, should be your answer to everything you need to know and learn about cannabis to make you understand it better, plus the Weedman 420 Chronicles and the Grow Hour. Right? So learning from the periodic table of cannabis molecules, cannabis consumers, healthcare workers, bud tenders, curious grandmas, and everyone in between can benefit from this wicked, awesome interactive map of cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and precursor acids. The compounds are presented similarly to the traditional periodic table of elements, color-coded and organized into a geometric U shaped. Click on each box and read about the compound, including potential therapeutic treatments and background information. Those looking to utilize cannabis for a specific job can explore the symptoms or disorders they may relieve. This is not the first time this information has been made available to the public, but it's the most digestible way and has been presented thus far. Of course, there's been websites we've led people to. I've read tons of websites and gone to tons of books and stuff that has all this stuff. But this is fun. I showed you that, right? Hold on. So New Age of Weed Education. So tools like the Accountability Periodic Table cannabis molecules are instrumental. Easy to understand, education, increased accessibility to regulated weed are major coup. They equip people to choose between medical cannabis and pharmaceuticals. The New Age of Weed Education. There is a bounty of information available online about cannabinoids, terpenes, medical weed applications, and so much more, and podcast also, like the Weedman 420 Chronicles. This issue with getting the info into the people it's not about quantity, it's about the delivery. The interactive tool is a meaningful setup in the right direction. The weed lover in the family, friend group, or workplace who fields frequent questions about which strain, cannabinoid, or product someone should get would benefit from bookmarking this one. So absolutely, it's so cool. I'm just going to go to the website real quick. It's called the Cannabis Periodic Table. So I was showing Mrs. Weedman earlier. So let's just go to sleep. I'll click on the sleep aid sedation. And it popped up CBN as one of the cannabinoids, which is color-coded, THC, Delta-9, which is color-coded. Then it takes you to CBD, color-coded. Then you go to the middle of the U, and you have myrcene, terpenol, and linalool. And then, I got to take off this, terpenol. Terpolphylline and terpenol are the terpenes, and then there was no flavonoids or precursor acids. And then those are what you should be taking to help with that sleep aid sedation. Then you can also click on CBN. It tells you about CBN and the neurodegenerative disease, the analgesic. It's the sleep aid sedation antibacterial. CBN tags. It tells you background info. CBN as an analgesic. CBN as a neurodegenerative disease. CBN as an antibacterial. Then there's a PDF article, and then there's also a video testimonial.
That's great.
And then accountability table facts. What do the boxes shown represent? How were the boxes selected? How were the symbols determined, and what do they mean? Why is the chart organized into 4 sections? Why does each section represent? How were the atomic masses calculated? How should this chart be used by consumers? Is the chart preparatory to accountability? And then the disclaimer and yada, yada, yada.
Well,
so
there's a lot of information.
And
it's very easy, clickable, everything.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the big periodic chart. You click on your topic.
It explains this little box over to the right that explains the molecular mass, the name, and the symbol of it. And then but underneath it says what color coded of cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, precursors, and then a little note. Very well done. Accountability.
Yeah.
And thank you, Green State, for posting that and then me having to learn about it. So then I can talk about it on the show, and then the masses can use this information to help and teach and also educate people on this. And I think it was wonderful. Another wonderful website. So don't panic.
Yeah.
It's organic.
Yeah.
That's catchy.
That's pretty good, right?
Clean cannabis is what we've been talking about lately on the show. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
So what is organic weed, and how do you find it? There exists a divide between those who value organically produced goods versus those who favor conventionally produced versions. Complicating matters, what one person considers organic may differ greatly from another. And standards vary between nonprofits and businesses that certify what is or is not organic. The reason many select organic options include fewer pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and other nasties, resulting in cleaner soil and water, a reduced risk for workers handling such chemicals, a cleaner product for the consumer, and so on. Some find the taste of organic agricultural products to be superior too, although no one is happy that the cost of most organic food is higher than conventionally produced products. This debate is found in cannabis as well. Some regulated programs, such as Oregon's, have a list of banned chemicals and pesticides for which they test. And while the unregulated industry has an ongoing problem with large-scale operations often busted with a staggering amount of chemicals at the grow sites, there exist illicit producers following the strictest of organic standards. The subject of pesticides in cannabis hit a new mark in June with an explosive investigation by the LA Times and Weed Week, the reverberations of which are still being felt. They found 25 of the 42 cannabis products purchased at licensed dispensaries tested by licensed labs, this is a quote, showed concentrations of pesticides either above state-allowed levels or at levels that exceed federal standards for tobacco. The contaminants include chemicals tied to cancer, liver failure, thyroid disease, and genetic and neurologic harm to users and unborn children, end quote. Up to 24 different pesticides were found in some individual products coming from dispensaries. Vapes, in particular, fared poorly, with 5 well-known brands containing, quote, pesticide loads that exceeded Federal Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, risk thresholds for harm from a single exposure. Do you hear that? 5 well-known brands with exceeding the Federal Environmental Protection Agency's risk threshold for harm from a single one exposure, resulting in potential irritation to the lungs, eyes, and throat, as well as rash, headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain.
Sounds like you need some Pepto.
And now multiply that by how many doses and how many of those people go through. Since then, there have been product recalls, a class action lawsuit, loss of licenses, and a fundamental reassessment as to how the world's largest adult use market could let so many contaminated products reach consumers. No one is seeking more pesticides in their cannabis, but finding a one-stop selection of organic products isn't as easy as hitting the natural or organic aisle at the grocery store. But for Oregon and California cannabis buyers, there's a new option available for those wanting an organized organic collection of brands and products. A unique program by Sun and Earth Certified is looking to build on that grocery store model by offering an organic products section at dispensaries across Oregon and California.
Isn't that crazy? That we have to
That we have to go through this.
Isn't weed supposed to be organic?
It should be. But why? I mean, why?
Now we have to have an organic section.
Why would it be?
And then you're going to be able to raise price because, this is organic. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting shit weed that's filled with pesticides. So it's going to be dirt cheap.
That's our vegetables and that's the food we consume all the time.
Isn't that crazy? I will.
It's mimicking just everything else.
That's why
that
I will
happens.
grow my own.
Okay, and I don't want to segue because this
you're
is
a great
important.
shopper.
We're gonna get back to this article, but we just caught about 2/3 of a show the other night on News Nation about sludge and contaminated farms with PFAS, so forever chemicals. There's like 16 chemicals that are considered forever chemicals. They don't get broken down. We don't know how to dispose of them. We can't get rid of them. They just are there. And so it was the government's wonderful idea to take sludge, the residue, when refiltering and cleaning and purifying water and putting it back out to the public, all that nice shit that ends up at the bottom.
Poop.
It's called sludge. They call it sludge. Well, they didn't want that in their dumps because it wouldn't be good for the landfills. So they thought it would be really great for our U.S. farmers to spread that across their crops to regenerate the soil with nutrients.
Poop.
And then you can go grow the corn and all of the things that us consumers can consume. And then the farmers are selling contaminated products because the government gave them this wonderful product.
Poop.
Or this program, I should say. So fucking A. So it's such a big problem. The EPA, I think, is just quivering because it's going to explode now that this is becoming a bigger topic.
20 million acres has been infected.
The United States is pretty fucked if this becomes something that big enough voices demand it gets tested for, because the only farms that are flagged right now are farmers who are volunteering to test their soil. There's no mandate that you have to test your soil for this.
It's in your milk.
And some of these farms have been sludging, they call it, for years.
Since what, 1987?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So back to clean products, organic sections at your dispensaries. That would be great, right? So this pilot program is available at 11 Oregon dispensaries, as well as numerous across California. We are creating dedicated areas within cannabis dispensaries for products certified by one or more recognized programs, according to a press release. It's a solid win for everyone involved, but perhaps best serves the consumer, who can learn much more about the growing practices of those brands featured at one stop. And since organic means so many things to different people, specific certifications make the practices transparent. There are certified Oregon farms, including 54 Green Acres, Green Bandit, Phoenix Rising Farm, and Roganja, with dozens more in California. Certification not only benefits the farms, but products made using the flower can highlight the organic certification too. The program provides much-needed education, explaining the carbon footprint of sun-grown versus indoor-grown, and it educates on the principles of regenerative farming. But wisely, it does not delve into the minefield of which is better between outdoor or indoor-grown. Oftentimes, the organic options I have purchased cost no more than the conventional producers. In fact, many sun-grown and Sun and Earth certified products are offered at a lower price. Buying organic cannabis supports growers and producers who share your values while providing top-shelf options. Most dispos won't push for clean products if their clients aren't asking for them, so please, ask your bud tender.
Good one. Plus the sludge you talked about too.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a long article, and I should have saved it to next week, but I already had dialed it in. So, and I should have actually gave it to Mrs. Weedman because she's the edible queen.
Yeah.
But can your edibles expire?
Yeah, we always wonder about that.
Yeah. How long do weed, CBD, and THC gummies last? Edibles offer a great delivery system. We all know that. We love edibles, but do they expire? This will cover a little bit, maybe a lot of it, about expired edibles. One glaring issue that gets missed, given the price tag, the excitement over cannabis edibles, is that they're still food. And they're still governed by the same limitations: bacteria growth, mold, spoilage, and their non-cannabis counterparts. Cookies go stale, oil can go rancid, and food will spoil. Edibles require the same preservatives as processed foods to ensure long shelf life. After all, they still subscribe to the same rules as food safety. While cannabis has antimicrobial and antibacterial properties, that doesn't do much to change the other ingredients on the shelf life. This is important to keep an eye on with homemade marijuana edibles too. They often lack official doses, meaning those special brownies can send you into the stratosphere. I like to go there every once in a while. Additionally, they may be lacking certain preservatives, meaning their shelf life can be significantly less than store-bought products. Luckily, marijuana legalization means regulation, so more pot-based products have sell-by, best-by, and expiration dates, like the grocery store. They can give you guidance for what products might start off to taste off versus what they potentially make you sick. Edibles need fats like oil and butter to better deliver cannabinoids to your body. However, some fats can last longer with perishables made with dairy or eggs while eventually go bad. Edibles that are exposed to water can develop mold. When in doubt about the expiration date of an edible, defer to the non-cannabis version of shelf life of its ingredients. Ha-ha! If you're planning to stock up on edibles, it's also important to know edibles can lose their potency. THC can degrade over time. While cannabinoids do not magically become toxic, they can lose some of their psychoactive properties, which is why you bought those magic brownies and weed gummies in the first place. Do THC gummies expire? THC gummies and many cannabis-infused hard candies have an indefinite shelf life. Most of them say a year, but this is saying indefinite. Gummies are made with sugar, gelatin or pectin, and water. Even gummies made with beeswax have potential to last a long time, as beeswax doesn't expire ever. Remember that? We learned that from the honey guy in Canada. Honey does not go bad. And somebody asked him, and he was specific, I know it goes bad. He goes, okay, 5,000 years. Yeah. And we started laughing at him. Individually wrapped candies are also likely to last longer since they're not exposed to water or germs, which can increase mold and bacteria growth. Gummies do not generally go bad, but they still have a risk of mold. Yes, they do. Keep an eye out for any discoloration or white. You'll find white
spots.
Yeah. If they get very grainy or dry, and of course, if you see mold. Can weed gummies lose their potency? While some candies cannot expire, that doesn't mean they will always retain the potency. THC hates sunlight and oxygen. It will also naturally degrade over time when exposed to light or heat and convert into a completely different cannabinoid called CBN, which we take every night along with our THC. While not the end of the world, this means that they lose a little psychoactive properties, not to mention CBN is more likely to make you tired. If you're overcooked your homemade edibles, you may have converted your THC into CBN and is more likely to get you into bed than get you high. Both. How long do edible gummies take to expire? As a candy made from water, sugar, and gelatin, pectin, gummy candies can have a fairly long shelf life. Gummy recipes can vary. This can affect their individual expiration dates. Standard gummy candies can last from 6 months to a year, even much longer. Cannabis products are often stored in airtight containers, so the store is a cool, dry place. Your edible gummies can potentially last much longer. Unopened packages of gummies will potentially last longer than the ones that have opened because when you open them, you expose them to oxygen and bacteria. Remember, opening packages and touching unused candy with your hand exposes it to various microbes that can speed up the spoilage. With regards to THC content, studies point to the confirmed 12% degrade. Oh, so 12% THC over the first 100 days of storage. You lose. Equivalent to a rate of 3 to 4% each month. But this is for the cannabis flower, not pre-made products. The handling and cooking of edibles has much more changes to these numbers. If you're curious about the shelf life of the cannabinoids, especially if you grow your own cannabis or edibles, here's a cannabis stability calculator. How long do edibles cookies last? Edible cookies are made with milk and eggs, which means that they're much more to spoil. Freshly baked cookies only last about 3 days before they can start growing mold or make you sick. Preservatives can extend the time. Edibles are likely to have some. It's best to default the best by date and package your cannabis cookies to avoid food poisoning. Keeping your baked edibles in a refrigerator or freezer can potentially increase the shelf life. Did you hear that? Keeping your baked edibles in a refrigerator or freezer, which we keep, if we know we're not going to eat them, we put them in the freezer, can potentially increase their shelf life. However, the dairy and egg content may make them them more likely to spoil. Luckily, they're likely to spoil before too much THC degrades. Do edibles lose potency after a year? Besides, expiring edibles can lose potency over time as THC degrades. A year is about the time it takes for the THC to degrade enough to lose its effects, but it can occasionally degrade even more quickly. Cannabinoids can have a shelf life of 2 years if stored properly. However, THC has quite a few enemies that could speed up the degradation. THC's worst enemy is oxygen, which increases its chances of becoming CBN. When THC becomes CBN, it becomes less psychoactive, but CBN can still offer a subtle high, and euphoric and relaxed feelings is also more likely to make you tired. Heat and light also increases the speed of your edibles lose and their potency. Use 8-decade jars. Store edibles in a cool, dark, dry space whenever possible. Try leaving them in the original packaging, and don't open the package unless you plan to consume the contents within the next 3 to 6 months. Can you freeze edibles? If you want to preserve your THC edibles, you can try freezing them to retain their potency and stave off spoiling. Freezing edibles will stop them from being exposed to heat, light, and oxygen. Like with cannabis flower, freezing will not affect the potency of the cannabinoids because they have bonded to the oil or fat. Other ingredients are likely to degrade before the cannabinoids start to. The only issue with freezing edibles may be the taste. After all, if you invested the money in purchasing delicious edibles, you may not want to ruin the flavor or texture. Definitely consider freezing cookies and other baked edibles, as a porous texture increases their chances of oxygen exposure and have a shorter shelf life than other edibles. However, with beverages, candies, and more unique edibles, use your best judgment for how freezing them might affect how they might taste. Can you eat expired edibles? We talked about this the other night, right? Hold on 1 second.
Like how expired?
There's nothing stopping you from eating expired edibles except potentially the smell or taste. Cannabinoids don't become toxic and you will not die. However, you do run the risk of foodborne illness, and the larger question is, will they even get you high? It's best to give sugar-based edibles the small test. After all, candy can have a long shelf life, and only by flavor or smell can you detect potential mold or pathogens. Depending on how long you've had the edible, you run the risk of eating something that you might make you sick and run the potential of only enjoying a subtle relaxing high of CBN. Food safety is the biggest issue with rewards to the edible expiration, so it's best for you to use judgment and definitely discard any edibles that smell or taste. What happens if you eat an expired gummy? Eating expired gummies is not the worst thing in the world. Given their long shelf life, you may just lose some texture or flavor quality. There's also the potential that THC has degraded and you will have a weaker high, relaxing experience, or no high at all. There's potential for exposure to mold, fungi, or bacteria, so just keep that in mind, but you would know your chances at first bite. Do CBD edibles expire? The answer is yes. CBD edibles can and do expire. However, CBD edibles tend to have a longer shelf life compared to CBD products, and they're properly stored. Again, cannabinoids can behave differently when bonded to fats. Likely any food product, CBD edibles can go bad over time. Factors like heat, oxygen, and moisture can increase the chemical breakdown of the ingredients or growth of bacteria or microorganisms. Like THC, exposure to oxygen and light increases the chances of CBD oxidizing and degrading in quality. Over time, expired CBD edibles will lose their potency as the CBD content degrades and can also turn into CBN. They are unsafe to eat. Mold grows. Consuming rancid edibles can potentially cause gastrointestinal distress. What is the shelf life of a CBD edible? CBD edibles have a shelf life ranging from 4 months to 1 year, if properly stored, even longer. How can you increase the shelf life of edibles? Part of what makes marijuana so magically is the countless biochemical reactions on your body and no cannabinoid system. That being said, there are chemical reactions that can affect the life of your edibles. Here are a few tips for keeping your edibles fresh. Store in a cool, dark place, away from heat and light. The ideal storage temperature is 60 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit. The fridge works too, but may harden or dry some edibles out over time. Keep edibles in an airtight container. Limit oxygen and moisture exposure. Consider vacuum sealing extra sensitive items. Inspect regularly and discard anything that smells, tastes, or appears off. Don't take a chance with mold. Moldy sections, it's not cheese. You can't rip it off like cheese and eat the rest. It's been done by me. Moldy sections can contaminate the whole package and exposure your foodborne pathogens like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. But only what you expect to consume within a few months. The shorter the time edibles sit around, the less it degrades will occur, and the more they'll preserve their potency. Be mindful of manufacturing dates and allow Best Buy for expiration dates on packaging. While not definitive, they'll give a guide of expected freshness. For baked goods, store the freezer significantly slow stalling and extended shelf life. Allow to thaw before consuming, as cannabinoids could be trapped in ice crystals, its taste, or throw it out. How long does an edible high last? We all know we've talked about this. Depends on your body. It's got to go through the liver. 11-hydroxy gets formed through proteins, but some people can't process proteins through the liver, and you can't get high from edibles, but usually it takes about 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on your body fat. And I'm not even reading it. This is all knowledge. So depending on your body fat, your body weight, how fast it goes through your system, because don't forget, you got to go through your small intestines, and then it goes out through the bloodstream, and boom, boom, boom. If you ate a heavy meal, it's going to take even longer, so be careful. Make sure you ingest properly. If you want to get high faster, eat first. Eat some higher fats, butter on bread, you'll be all good. Or just take the butter and go wah, and you'll be all good. Put it on a little knife, like Mrs. Weedman has to do, a little sugar on some bread and eat it, because she just would like it. Butter, sugar, and bread, right?
No, because my mom wouldn't buy cookies. So we ate sugar and butter on white bread.
So just make sure, it can last anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. Or here's the kicker too, don't forget. If you take an edible before you go to bed, like right when you go to bed, and you fall asleep, the edible will not digest. You will wake up like Mrs. Weedman did, high as fuck, and couldn't drive your daughter downtown to go to work. So, some thoughts. Despite being infused with cannabinoids, they're still food, so just be careful what you're putting in your body. You could get food poisoning. Just like any food object, make sure you're storing it correctly, like we talked about. So enjoy your edible. Start low and go slow, everybody, and have some fucking fun, because edibles are great.
Okay.
So...
yes.
It's the holiday season.
It is.
And not everyone's happy at the holidays. As I said on the last episode, I'm kind of Scroogey sometimes. And how do you have a happy holiday if you're just not everyone's always happy? And can can cannabis help?
Yes, cannabis can help.
Tell us about it, Ms.
But they're,
Weedman.
I think, more referring to not necessarily, being grumpy. It could help with being grumpy. It can help with being anxious. It can help with being depressed.
Being Scroogey.
Yeah. It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, but for many, it's not. Whether it's due to the loss of a loved one, illness, or being alone, it can be a tough season for many. In one survey, 10% of those over 55 say that they won't have anyone else in their home this holiday season. But maybe cannabis can help. It may help alleviate symptoms of holiday depression in several ways. Cannabis, particularly strains high in CBD, can reduce stress and anxiety associated with the holiday season. CBD interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain, potentially producing antidepressive effects. According to a survey by the American Psychological Association, 38% of individuals report increased stress during this time of year, stemming from various responsibilities such as shopping, cooking, and entertaining. The pressure to create a perfect holiday experience can lead to feelings of overwhelm and inadequacy. Microdosing cannabis can be an effective way to manage holiday depression by consuming small amounts of cannabis, typically from between 1 and 2.5 milligrams of THC. Individuals can experience mood-enhancing effects without feeling intoxicated. This approach can help you ease stress and anxiety. It can also help you reframe the self-expectation pressures into more manageable and realistic goals. Microdosing allows for better social interactions and increased productivity too, which can be particularly beneficial during family gatherings. Additionally, combining low doses of THC with CBD can provide a balanced effect, promoting relaxation and reduced negative emotional responses. THC, the psychoactive component in cannabis, can provide temporary relief from depressive symptoms, though it's important to use it cautiously, as high doses may worsen depression. Some users report that cannabis helps them fall asleep more easily, it helps them relax, and it helps manage holiday-related grief. When using cannabis for depression, it is recommended to find strains with higher CBD and lower THC content. while terpenes like limonene, linalool, and beta-carophylline may also have antidepressive properties. However, it is crucial to note, while cannabis may offer temporary relief, it's not a cure for depression. There are also ways to manage holiday-related sadness. Recognizing it's normal to feel sad or stressed during the holidays can help alleviate some pressure. Adjusting expectations about what the holidays should look like can reduce feelings of inadequacy. Connecting with friends or support groups or even volunteering can help combat loneliness. And engaging in activities that promote relaxation and well-being can be beneficial. Understanding these factors and implementing some coping strategies we've talked about, like adding THC and CBD into your wellness routine, may help you navigate the emotional complexities of the holiday season more effectively.
Nice.
Yeah.
We want everybody to try to do their best and be happy in the holiday season. Right?
Definitely.
I'm Scroogey, though.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right.
One day I'll explain it to my brother why I'm Scroogey, because he gave me that name. Political, state, and business news. This is the kicker right here. This is the creme de la creme. Illinois, why do they always go 2 steps backwards? You're supposed to go 2 steps forward, right? And 1 step back? Well, they go 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward, and 2 steps backwards. Okay, so they just passed a law.
They don't go anywhere.
They're just right. They just passed a law saying that you can't be pulled over for the smell of smoke coming out of your car. Mm-hmm. But now the court rules that the smell of marijuana justifies police searches of vehicles. Raw marijuana.
Like anyone's going to know, really, how many people can tell the difference?
It's
and isn't that like, yeah. It's just giving them reason.
2 steps backwards is the new song.
It's just
1 step
we're not
forward.
Moving. We're not even going forward
and then 2
at all.
steps back again.
Yeah.
Just asinine. Why?
It's maddening, really.
Oh my God. Illinois Supreme Court. Medicare and Medicaid officials seek to clarify that marijuana and CBD aren't covered by federal health programs. Not yet, they're not. Pennsylvania lawmakers are introducing a cannabis legalization legislation. And then on top of that, though, a new Pennsylvania bill will propose that marijuana be sold in state-run stores just like their alcohol program is. Well, and they do that in Canada, where they have state-run stores. So they can control the pricing on everybody. Great. LSU offers cannabis industry training, but state laws mean most graduates have to leave to use it. LSU's online cannabis program, created with Green Flower, offers education across 5 tracks: healthcare, agriculture, business, compliance, and product development. However, Louisiana's tight restrictions on medical cannabis, issuing only 2 grow licenses, 2, limit in-state opportunities for graduates, prompting many to seek work elsewhere. Despite high public support for expanding cannabis laws, state policies are limited. Market growth push talent out of Louisiana. Graduates like Corin Boyd and Jalen Jordan reflect on challenges, including leaving the state due to lack of industry openings. Attention canna companies. CTA filing deadline this month. The Corporate Transparency Act, CTA, mandates that businesses, including cannabis companies, report their beneficial ownership to FinCEN by December 31st, 2024. If formed before January 1st of 2024, this aims to curb illegal activities like money laundering. The act applies to most entities requiring details about owners with significant control or at least 25% ownership. Non-compliance can result in penalties. Cannabis businesses must comply despite concerns over disclosing sensitive ownership details. For more details, check the website out. Not my website. The CTA website. DA judge says rescheduling isn't about whether marijuana is good or bad at the first hearing. We talked about that hearing when I watched it on the last episode. So this is where this judge and everybody that's involved in this case and everything that's going to be going on is like a fucking TV show. It's what I was watching and now what I've been reading. It's just like a complete fucking just. No, I'm good right this minute. The DEA's first marijuana rescheduling hearing focused on I can't even pronounce the word, matters, setting the stage for future substantive discussions. A key aspect of the proposed change is moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, which will still maintain strict control but allow federal tax deductions and research advancements. The judge clarified that the hearings are not about the merits of cannabis use, but rather its addiction potential. Witness testimony will begin early 2025. So the DEA judge scolds an agency for failure to submit marijuana rescheduling evidence while scheduling testimony and hearing. A DEA judge criticized the agency for failing to submit required evidence for a hearing on marijuana rescheduling. The judge instructed the DEA to provide a complete list of documents by December 13th of 2024. Merit-based hearings will begin on January 1st of 2025. The judge also dismissed motions to remove DEA from the process and emphasized that public comments cannot be considered as evidence. The hearing will focus on whether marijuana should be moved to Schedule 1 or Schedule 3 or a Controlled Substance Act. So then some doctors asked the DEA judge to postpone marijuana rescheduling hearing amid court challenges to agency's witness selection. A group of doctors is requesting a delay in the upcoming marijuana rescheduling hearings, citing concerns over the DEA's selection of witnesses. They argue that the agency witness list include individuals who may be biased or unqualified. The doctors are challenging this selection in court and seek more time to ensure a fair and transparent process. The rescheduling hearings are part of the ongoing effort to reconsider marijuana's state under federal law. You can also go on, you can look up this case and you can now see the date of which each day and the date of each company or person that's been selected by the DEA on their testimonial to the judge and witnesses and everybody that's around. So you could see everybody each day. It goes all the way from January to like March.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be long. It's going to be entertaining. The NAACP and allies pushed New York governor to stop letting marijuana officials favor big corporations over small businesses and equity. Nebraska's Attorney General prepares to ask Supreme Court to overturn voter-approved medical marijuana measures. Remember, we just read a bunch of times that they weren't going to go after it? Mm-hmm. They lied. The Nebraska's Attorney General office is preparing to appeal a court decision that upheld approved medical marijuana measures. The state has filed an amended claim alleging circulatory fraud, but Judge Susan Strong dismissed these arguments, citing insufficient evidence. Despite this, AG Mike Higlers intends to take the case to the Nebraska Supreme Court. Meanwhile, state officials certified the election results, including the cannabis measures, which are set to take effect soon. Texas cannabis industry fires back at Dan Patrick's push to ban THC. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is pushing Senate Bill 3, which aims to ban all forms of THC, criticizing the unregulated sale of hemp-derived products since the 2019 passage of House Bill 1325. He claims these products, which often contain higher THC levels, pose a danger, especially to children. It's kind of funny because cannabis use in children has gone down, so they keep on using that as an excuse. However, the Texas cannabis community opposes the bill, arguing that it would harm the hemp industry and derive demand to the illicit market. Advocates urge for broader cannabis legalization and regulation instead. Texas Rep. Jessica Gonzalez of Dallas files a bill to legalize marijuana, House Bill 1208, which would legalize cultivation, manufacture, and transportation and the sale of cannabis. Big battles coming up in Texas. Let's see what happens. The NFL takes another big step toward legalizing marijuana use by players. The NFL has moved closer to legalizing marijuana use of players by raising the THC testing threshold from 150 NGs to 350 NGs milliliters. This change, effective from December of 2024, means players can have higher THC levels in their system before testing positive. Fines for violations will be significantly reduced, while marijuana use isn't fully decriminalized. This marks a significant shift in the NFL's stance in cannabis, with suspensions for violating becoming increasingly rare. Pot cafes, theaters, and yoga studios. Plans revealed for social marijuana consumption in Massachusetts. Good for you, Massachusetts.
Nice.
Good for you. Right up Mrs. Weedman's alley right there.
Lucky them. Massachusetts
is moving closer to legalized pot cafes. I would love to open up one, but not in Massachusetts. Too cold for me. It's already cold enough here. Social marijuana consumption establishments. The Cannabis Control Commission has outlined 3 types of licenses: supplemental for existing dispensaries with consumption space, hospitality for business like cafes or yoga studios, and event organizers for temporary consumption events like festivals. All licensed business must serve food and it helps slow THC onset. Additionally, safety rules are being considered, such as transportation strategy for impaired consumers. Regulations will be finalized on December 17th, with pot cafes potentially opening in about a year. Cool. Just make it like a bar and have the same regulations and rules. It's kind of simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just do the same rules like alcohol. Thousands of marijuana DUI convictions may be in jeopardy after a report on UIC drug testing lab. Oh, dope. Following the ABC I-Team report, an inaccurate marijuana blood test, Metro Chicago prosecutors are reviewing past cases involving the University of Illinois Chicago Analytical Forensic Testing Laboratory. Some driving under the influence DUI convictions based on UIC lab results are now in jeopardy, with estimates suggesting 15,000 cases could be affected. That's fucked up. They ain't like one or two. That would be bad. This is fucked up.
That's a big problem.
Yes. Lawyers are investigating whether compromised tests led to wrongful convictions, with some individuals currently incarcerated. The UIC lab has launched an internal investigation, but the fallout could lead to numerous cases reviews and potential legal challenges. Oh, yeah, that will be. Despite fits and starts, new Tennessee hemp-derived cannabinoid regulations to take effect on December 26, 2024, just like your friend down in Tennessee told you, right? It was coming up. Tennessee's new hemp-derived cannabinoid regulations will take effect on December 26, 2024, after a lengthy and turbulent process. These regulations will require all producers, distributors, and retailers of HDC products to obtain a license. 1 second. Importantly, products exceeding 0.3% THC will be banned, and strict testing, labeling, and safety standards will be enforced. The regulations also prohibited the sale of HDC products to those under 21, mandate product placement behind counters. Despite challenges, Tennessee HDC market will soon have one of the most rigorous regulatory frameworks in the U.S. Oof. Then in Tennessee, groups sue attempting to stop hemp rules limiting THCA products. Two groups are suing in an attempt to stop the new rules restricting legal hemp products in Tennessee from ongoing into effects as planned later this month. The rules will effectively take the state's more popular hemp products off the shelves, which retailers and farmers will likely tank the industry and send customers back to the black market or across state lines. The Tennessee Healthy Alternative Association and Tennessee Growers Coalition filed complaints against the State Department of Agriculture, saying the rules is made about how to test hemp products go against the 2023 law that first regulated the products here. Excuse me. Colorado's failing sales drive boom in lower strength cannabis products. We've been talking about this for a long time. I just had a great conversation with O-Dog's boyfriend, and we talked about low strength products, and he's not even a cannabis consumer anymore. And in Colorado, a decline in cannabis sales has spurred growth in lower strength marijuana products. As overall sales dip, businesses are turning to products with less than 10% THC. Bah, why didn't I think of that? Content, including edibles and tinctures, aiming to attract consumers seeking lighter experiences. The shift responds to both market pressure and changing consumer preferences, with lower dosed options now forming a significant portion of the cannabis market. The trend highlights an evolving strategy to stabilize the industry amidst falling sales figures. You've said this a long time. You canceled out a whole entire consumer, right? Didn't we talk about this? You've talked about this forever. You know, you canceled out a whole dynamic because you weren't thinking. Now whoever's listening to the show is going to be like, "Damn, we need to look at our market strategy a little bit better and where we're going to go next." Who is the new consumer? 55
women,
55
over 50,
55 and up are the fastest growing segment of this market. Females, but males are right behind them too. Very tight margin there, but regardless, who cares? 55 and up.
It's a big increase for women, though.
Yeah, huge.
Reported,
right?
Consuming,
but it's just amazing.
Yeah,
that no one thought about this whole new industry, and you're giving 70-year-old people that want cannabis 30% strains that aren't ready for that.
They don't. Yeah.
So what?
And then they don't have a pleasant experience.
So what if you're not making $1 billion off the
You're
hype?
making a long-term client.
Yes.
Who will potentially eventually get to those levels like many consumers
It might take them a couple
but
years.
it could be a dozen years.
Yeah, they
But
might just like that.
They're just going to be a long-term customer.
I said I like
what
the
difference is it? I mean, yeah, your revenue is higher for a high dose consumer. I don't know.
No.
I just it's
a
silly.
whole new market
Yes.
that is untouched, and people don't understand that.
The whole industry it like thinks through a pinhole, and there's just this whole world.
Waiting to experience
Yes.
angels in those leaves.
And ways to approach it that are more engaging and more. I mean, the way it's happening now is winning people over. So imagine if it was a really great scenario.
Yeah.
How much more it could impact society and people in small communities where they can't get to dispensaries. Well, they might be home growing, but maybe they don't have the ability to do that either. And yeah, once it becomes accessible to everybody, There, of course, they'll find that there are going to be more people who may have bad reactions to it, and they may find some negative things that we didn't know about it, because there will be more data, and they're going to be able to study topics about cannabis that they've never been able to study. Most of the studying was to find bad things about it, and to identify addiction, and to identify reckless behavior, and they didn't study all of the medicinal qualities of the plant, because it was illegal.
Right.
And so it's an oyster. And there's just so much room for everybody. And there's just so many avenues to look at, to expand upon, and to grasp and reach people.
Yep.
And to bring them into sharing
Pull
a wonderful
them in. Like I always talk
resource for
about,
life.
pull them into the world of
Yeah.
cannabis. Don't push them away.
I mean,
pull them
the
in.
entire plant is beneficial to everybody, to the world.
Crazy, right?
Everything about the plant.
That's why the governments don't like it.
So if you don't consume it, there's so many. You could build a home with it. You can regenerate your soil and your property with it. You can make clothing and make stationery.
You can eat it.
And
you can smoke it. You can drink it. You can, you can use it for fuel in your car. You can build a car with it. Henry Ford built a car
every bit
out of
of
hemp.
the plant.
That's what Ford was built at first.
Yeah.
Hemp mobiles.
Yeah.
Everything. It's a perfect plant.
Yeah.
Wichita, Kansas. First cannabis cafe is about to open, serving infused coffee and seltzer. Canna Cafe, set to open in Wichita, will be the first cannabis-infused cafe, offering THC beverages such as tea, seltzers, and mocktails. Will also feature educational events, games, and comedy. It's not legal in Kansas, so just hemp-derived THC. So he's going to, owner Brett Harris plans to expand the menu with infused pastries and cannabis cocktails, and hopes to franchise the concept. Good for you, Brett. Good luck. Thousands of Kansans, look, 2 articles about Kansans, are Missouri medical marijuana patients. A growing number of Kansans are turning to Missouri for medical marijuana. The Missouri legalized in 2022. Kansas lacks a state-level medical marijuana program promoting residents to cross the border for access. This trend highlights frustrations with Kansas' slow legislative progress on cannabis reform. Cannabis lawmakers are struggling to pass comprehensive cannabis legalization, and advocates are pushing for both medical and recreational marijuana to be legalized. Efforts to legalize cannabis in Kansas continue to face challenges despite the neighboring state's success. Kansas, man. You just got to get rid of them. People that don't, the old school mentality of thinking and not letting the voters vote for it and get what they want is outdated. It's over. Mm-hmm. Got to stop that from happening. Put it on the ballot. You want it? Yes. Nebraska's going to try to screw you over. Nebraska, your constituents wanted it. Okay. Hey, what happened in North and South Dakota and Florida, not getting that vote, fucked up. Try again. Get more people out there. Get to that 60% threshold. Fight for legalization in your state. Medical, then recreational. Prove the point. Ohio GOP again proposes restricting marijuana and making it more expensive. I don't get why the GOP in Ohio has a stick up their ass about cannabis. I said it, Ohio. They have your GOP leaders have a stick in their ass when it comes to cannabis. Ohio Republicans have proposed changes to the state's marijuana law aiming to raise the tax rate from 10 to 15%, which would increase prices for consumers. So all those consumers, Ohio, are going to go right back to Michigan. I would. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. Local, because you don't care about your constituents. Local governments could add an additional 3% tax. Now you're set 18% tax on top of what all the other taxes. I'm going right back to Michigan. The proposal also includes allowing people to grow 6 plants per household and expunging records for those convicted of possessing amounts that are now legal. These revisions are part of the ongoing effort to shape the state's legal cannabis framework. It's already been shaped. You're just trying to fuck it up. People out there in Ohio, I love you. I'm telling you, do not let them do this to you. They have a stick in their ass. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me right now? Well, I was at MJ BizCon, and I totally missed all of MJ BizCon. There was an MJ's at MJ BizCon. Tell us all about it and who the winners are, Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah. Well, now in its 13th year, MJ BizCon is the #1 global cannabis business conference and trade show. Each fall, the entire cannabis industry, ranging from the newest entrepreneurs to nationwide brands to MSOs, gather at MJ BizCon. The award-winning show is held annually at the Las Vegas Convention Center and showcases over 1,400 exhibitors, a 3-day conference and expo, pre-show forums, and over 100 industry speakers. MJ BizCon is known for its extraordinary networking, deals, and partnership building opportunities. More than 30,000 cannabis executives from around the world were expected to attend this year. MJ BizCon prides themselves on a fair and transparent judging process, beginning with the important first step of not allowing any kind of outside influence on the competition, specifically having a rule against any main sponsors or title sponsors participating in the competition. They invested in a third-party platform to host the public voting portion of the awards. They also verified each user's email to ensure votes were coming from real, active email accounts. Additionally, there was a data partner scrubbing through the tens of thousands of votes to ensure nothing looked out of place. The final judging component was a panel of industry professionals who looked at each nominee through a consumer's lens, researching the company's reputation, online presence, and overall consumer sentiment toward the product and or service. The winners were chosen from the blended score between the public vote and the internal judging by the panel. The MJ's International Cannabis Awards for 2024 went to, for Business Service of the Year, Sapphire Risk Advisory Group.
Yay.
Yay. Financial Services of the Year, Green Check Verified.
Yay.
Business Software of the Year, Kaya Push.
Woo!
Law Firm of the Year, Vincente.
Good Italian name.
Hey. Retail Cannabis Brand of the Year, Zamnesia.
I have amnesia because it's amnesia.
Retail Services of the Year, Tamika Group.
Nice. Congrats.
Retail Software Tech Company of the Year, Kova.
Yay.
PR Agency of the Year, Grasslands.
Nice.
Marketing Agency of the Year, Puff Creative.
Congratulations, Puff Creative. Thank you for helping build our website. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Congrats.
guys and girls and everybody. Thank you. Congrats. Cannabis Journalist of the Year, Javier Haas, Benzinga.
Yay.
Content Creator of the Year, Sarah Payan, Planted with Sarah.
Nice.
Cultivation Technology Hardware of the Year, Fluence.
Sweet.
Testing Lab of the Year, SC Labs. Cultivation Software of the Year, TSR Grow Hub.
Nice.
Packaging Printing Company of the Year, Gold Leaf Print and Packaging. Woo! Well, you have to be universal with your cheers, Mr. Weedman. Are you sleeping?
For a second there, I faded. I was staring at something.
Cultivation Non-Tech Company of the Year, Royal Queen Seeds.
They have a good website if you want to learn about growing weed. The stuff is really good. Oh yeah, I've used when I was beginning my first grow before I met Big Earl and learned more. I used their website a lot to just read.
Right.
Like it was a good reading reference site. Yeah.
Cannabis Infused Brand of the Year, Wild.
Good gummies.
Extraction Concentrate Brand of the Year, The Clear.
There you go.
Cannabis Flower Brand of the Year, American Weed Co.
Oh, say, can you see?
CBD Hemp Brand of the Year, Chime and Chill.
Nice.
Consumer Gear Tech Product of the Year, Boveda.
Yeah, I mean, I should invest in that company. I mean, how much
You should
Boveda
have.
is.
Yeah, I think you own a percent.
And everybody
At
out
least
there,
half of
a
a
lot of
percent.
people that I know too. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a great
a lot of
product.
people.
It's great.
Vaporizer Product of the Year, Venti by Stores and Bickle.
Woo!
Advocacy Organization of the Year, Last Prisoner Project.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Yes,
Congrats.
we are partners with them.
We
Congrats.
support you.
Yes, we do.
Best Packaging Design, Jeter and Marley.
Hey.
Best Marketing Campaign or Collaboration of the Year, Day Savers, Stoner Dream Job.
Love it. I love the name.
Best Newcomer Brand, guess what it is? 55 plus.
See? See what I'm saying out there,
Some
peeps?
big wins. Some big wins.
Yeah, and some people we know.
A very in-depth
Yeah.
strategy to coming to these conclusions,
Yes.
and these
Did
people
you
have
read? Did you read
deservedly won.
how those companies got you had to be nominated or you had to put yourself on? How did you get?
Yeah, I just
yeah.
right. I think you phased out. Mr.
I was pretty
Weedman.
high there for a second.
I,
So
I explained to everybody.
it was something like they
I'll
had to be
tell you
voted,
later.
right?
No,
No. Oh, okay. We had a conversation earlier about this.
that was about something else.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was the Chicago Reader. They had to be you had to be like voted to be in there or something like that. Okay, sorry, that was a different voting system.
Come back, Mr.
I'm back.
Weedman.
I'm back. I'm telling you what, that was good weed and
back.
that got me faded for a second. International news. Costa Rica court blocks recreational cannabis referendum. Costa Rica's constitutional chamber blocked a referendum on recreational cannabis, citing conflicts with international treaties such as the 1961 Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs and the 1988 UN Convention. Fucking write them off. These treaties limit cannabis to medical use. The case iterated by Eric Gonzalez Camacho was referred to the court by the Supreme Electoral Tribunal. While medical cannabis and industrial hemp are legal, President Chavez supports recreational cannabis for safety and economic reasons. Critics warn of potential social issues and emphasize treaty compliance. The debate continues, with advocates pushing for a change and opponents advocating for stricter enforcement. Brazil's Supreme Court legalizes hemp cultivation, manufacturing, and sales. The Brazil Supreme Court has legalized the cultivation, manufacturing, and sale of hemp-derived medicinal products, ruling that hemp with less than 0.3% THC is not subject to narcotics law. This decision follows Brazil's 2019 legalization of medical cannabis, which has relied on imports. The ruling mandates in government to establish regulations for the hemp industry within 6 months, aiming to ensure access to medical hemp products for health purposes. The decision is a significant step in the country's cannabis-related reforms. New Zealand cannabis grower to judge. Please, can I get the pots back? They're my mom's. My mum's.
My mom's.
A New Zealand cannabis grower, Kerr, we'll just say, who was sentenced to 2 years in prison for drug and firearm charges, requested the return of several items seized during a police search, including 2 pots that belonged to his mother. Despite his emotional plea, the judge allowed the return of the pots but upheld the sentence. Kerr, who faced charges for unlawful firearm possession and cannabis cultivation, had personal struggles, including the loss of his partner and concerns about his ailing grandmother. The UK sets, I thought that was cute though. Can we get the pots back to his mom? UK set to approve first 3 CBD products in 2025 after public consultation. The UK is set to approve its first 3 CBD products in 2025. Talk about being behind the times. Jeez. After public consultation, the approval will follow the country's push to regulate CBD more rigorously. The process involves the extensive safety and effective review to ensure these products meet the necessary standards for public consumption. These upcoming approvals will mark a significant step forward for structured and CBD products offerings in the UK market. This is expected to establish a model of CBD regulations globally, given the UK's advanced stance compared to other regions. Also in the UK, there's a secret 10 million pound medical cannabis factory that it's a secret, but not anymore. Since the legalization of medical cannabis in the UK, prescriptions numbers have surged. Dalgety, a company aiming to expand cannabis production, has created a state-of-the-art facility for growing, packaging, and selling cannabis to pharmacies. The company, led by James Levesley, secured 2 licenses, one for cultivation and one for sales. They have invested 8 to 10 million pounds and are set to produce enough cannabis for 4,000 prescriptions monthly. Despite the market growth, NHA's prescriptions remain limited, with private costs being a barrier for many patients, such as Laura, who uses legal cannabis for chronic relief. Grow Vida of Portugal, it's a Portugal company, acquires exclusive partnership with Lyft Australia to expand medical cannabis offerings in Australian market.
I'm stuck on the size of that facility, only being able to supply for 4,000 patients a month.
Mm-hmm. There's only 4,000 prescriptions right now monthly.
Right.
And they supply.
And that one
they're
facility.
one of two.
Wow.
So crazy, right?
Yeah.
That was international news, everybody. Ricky Lake. We got some cultural news, right? Ricky Lake and Snoop Dogg, Mrs. Weedman, started some shit.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Ricky Lake, for anyone maybe in their 40s and beyond,
I would just say Gen Xers.
Yeah,
Yep.
would know who Ricky Lake is. Well, she launches Ricky Lake and Bake. And Snoop Dogg launches an online cannabis store selling hemp-derived THCA products. Ricky Lake is getting into the cannabis industry. The former daytime talk show host announced the launch of Ricky Lake and Bake, a product that she collaborated on with the California-based cannabis company Stone Road Farms. I obviously believe in this medicine and in Stone Road's brand, and that's what they've built. Lake 56 stated in a press release. It is so aligned with where I am in my life, and I'm so happy to be bringing this out. One pouch of Ricky Lake and Bake contains a half ounce of Stone Road Farms infused solventless bubble hash, which is grown on the company's 57-acre farm in Nevada City, California. Lex Corwin, Stone Road Farms founder and CEO, was inspired to collaborate with Lake after visiting her Malibu home and learning that she not only consumes cannabis, she grows it too. After the Ricky Lake show ended, she released a documentary, The Business of Being Born, about home birth, and competed on Dancing with the Stars. In 2018, she unveiled another documentary, Weed the People, which explored cannabis as a treatment for pediatric cancer. She has since launched a wellness podcast, The High Life, with Ricky Lake. Meanwhile, cultural icon Snoop Dogg is expanding his cannabis brand, Smoke Weed Every Day, or the acronym SWEED, with a new direct-to-consumer retail platform selling hemp-derived cannabinoid products, smoking supplies, and other merchandise. The launch of the platform will also act as a directory for Sweed's physical retail locations, including a Los Angeles dispensary and a coffee shop in Amsterdam, both of which were announced this summer. Products sold through the new Swede online store include a curated selection of authentic Snoop Dogg and Death Row Records branded hemp-derived cannabis products, smoking accessories, premium tobacco cigars, and wraps, as well as limited edition lifestyle merchandise, according to the company, which described the new online store as an expansion of Snoop's cannabis empire. While he might be best known as a prolific consumer, Snoop has also advocated for reform, calling for a policy change at the NBA so players could use freely with cannabis off court. Snoop has long been pushing athletic organizations to adopt lenient cannabis policies, often emphasizing the point that cannabis could serve as a less addictive and dangerous alternative to prescription opioids. As for his retail stores, the rapper opened his first licensed dispensary in LA in June, and Snoop previously launched the cannabis brand Leafs by Snoop in Colorado in 2015. So, ride that wave, Snoop.
Oh, he's killing it.
He is.
2024 has been the year of Snoop Dogg.
Insane for him.
Insane.
I mean, he's had a really steady
yes,
career,
but this year
but he's just
he was in everything and on everything.
Yeah, he signed on over. He's Death Row for what was that in 2023 or 2022? I feel like that kind of like.
I think he re-bought it though and announced it was announced this year.
It was this year.
Yeah, it was announced, or maybe the end of 2023. I think it was announced this year that he bought it fully. You know,
it's crazy. He's everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. For all my gamers out there, Mr. Weedman is a gamer. I have been since my dad put an Odyssey. If you don't know what Odyssey is, look it up. A controller in my hand, a Pong controller. And but wait, all right. So there was the first Odyssey. I think it came out in like 1971 or 72. At 2 years old, I had that controller in my hand, and there was games though on it. Cartridges, like the original cartridges, right? Pong wasn't the only game on this. You used to have to tape
Yes, yes.
on the screen
Yes.
to play certain games.
The lines for because you'd put it on the channel on like a black screen,
Right,
like
and
a
then the
no
lines,
frequency
so there'd
channel.
be, you would tape the film.
Yeah.
Like I always remember there was a haunted house game.
Put it on like channel 3.
It was a haunted house game, and it actually came with a gun. It was the first
Whoa,
gun
yeah.
game, and a pong stick would pop up in the window where the witch was or the ghost, and you would shoot it, and you would hit it or not. And then there was different. It was crazy. So that's how old Mr. Weedman is. Okay. And but now Call of Duty 4 was one of Mr. Weedman's favorite games of all time. I know Call of Duty has developed into something crazy. I suck at it now. I used to be really good. It's just way too fast for me now. So, but the newest Call of Duty, the new gun lets you rip the bong and rave with a DJ kitty.
Wait, what?
Yes. So Call of Duty DLC weapons continue to be entirely over the top. The newest Call of Duty weapons have been revealed online and are running out of ways to describe how ridiculous over the top the game guns have become. As announced previously, Black Ops 6 and Warzone are getting numerous new weapons in Season 1 Reloaded, and these included a gun that turns into a bong and a melee weapon that morphs into a rave with a cat as the DJ seriously. Call of Duty has for many years enjoyed and embraced pot smoking, and the new Dank Day skin bundle that turns you into a pot smoking lizard continues the trend. The gun even lets you spark up the use of your gun as a bong, and smoke clouds emerge. The toxic positivity mastercraft, meanwhile, informs the baseball bat melee weapon into a rave with a little cat acting as the DJ. Check out the game. I game with some of my son's friends. I've been gaming with them since they were kids. They played Halo 1 in my house, so I go on them and game with them, and they all play Black Ops and Call of Duty. So I have to ask if they got that gun yet, or I'll have to ask MC if he got the gun, or Do if he got the gun. And if not, they have to. I want to film it, and so I'm gonna bust their chops. So, but Call of Duty, if you haven't played it, get on there and get that bong gun. Send me a picture or something of it. So wow, Mrs. Weedman, what a great show.
Yeah,
that hour and 45 minutes went by quick.
Yeah, I just ripped a big old
I cannot wait to rip
fatty.
the rest of that. I would like to thank Corner Boys.
Thank you
for throwing to the cause on this Rainbow Venom, and I highly suggest you find them and buy it because it's very good. And then I'd also like to thank these cones. They're great. The Rapifier Experience right here. So I'd like to thank you all. This beautiful, delicious cone.
It's great.
And I like it. I have 2 more left. Send me more. I'll smoke these. These were great. These burned really slow,
smoke them
right?
and talk about them. Yeah, they're great.
Just send me the
pineapple
plane.
in there. Got some more flour.
Yeah, we'll have to try. I think your nieces will probably like the pineapple one, but
Oh yeah,
send me more of just the plain. They were great. So, Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
that's the end of the show.
It is.
Got anything else to say?
The holidays are upon us, people.
It's the holiday season.
It sure is, and it can be good and it can be bad. Just try to find that silver lining if it's not a great one for you, and get through it. And use a little THC if it helps, and use a lot of CBD if it helps. And I hope it's just okay for you then.
Do the 12 days of Christmas start on the 12th day or the 13th day of the month? The 13th day.
Christmas is the 25th.
Right, so the 13th day.
Yeah.
Guess what the 13th day is on this week?
It's on a Friday.
Friday the 13th.
Oh, shit. It's
your lucky day.
I like 13.
You like Friday the
Yeah, I
13th.
do.
It's your lucky
It
day.
doesn't
So
bother
this
me.
year, the 12 days of Christmas starts on Friday the 13th.
Wow. I should play the lottery.
Yes, so the 12 days of Christmas start. So think of something to do on those 12 days of Christmas with weed.
Yeah.
Smoke a joint, day 1, right? Or think of something to do. 12 different ways of smoking weed. 12 different bongs, 12 different joints.
Oh, how fun.
12 different strains. Mm-hmm. You know, think of some fun things to do and do it with friends. You know, think of a different way to smoke weed, or try a different strain every day for 12 days. And on Christmas Day, when Santa comes down the chimney, or whatever you believe in, comes down, and if the Grinch stole your Christmas stockings, whatever you like to have fun with on Christmas or that week, have some fun with it. Till then, Give somebody a different nug for the next 12 days that likes, enjoys weed, so have some fun. So, anything else, Mrs. Weedman?
Stay well, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out 8decades.com with all your cannabis needs and cannabis gear, whatever you want. Make sure you get some friends and family, some 8 Decades and Weedman 420 gear. So we love you out there, everybody. We really appreciate you listening to us each week and coming at us. We love you. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pow.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.